there are still many questions about Shane McClanahan.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Locked On Rays podcast. Locked On Rays is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And we are Kevin and Ulises.
And our friend Evan Closky is here with us today. And guess what? We've been lifelong Rays fans who've been podcasting about these Tampa Bay Rays since 2019.
On today's show, we look at the expectations for Everson, Pereira, and Tristan Peters. In a few minutes, we'll break down what the Rays pitching staff could look like in 2026. But we'll begin with getting Evan's take on the injury to Shane McClanahan, the season-ending surgery to Shane McClanahan.
And before we get to that, I've got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Always good to have you, Evan, on the show. It's a good time to talk long about what was supposed to be the race ace in 2023. 2024, 2025, and yet he hasn't thrown a pitch for 714 days or 15 days, if I'm counting correctly. Evan, how did these latest news about Shane McClanahan not pitching in 2025 change the Rays' plans regarding their starting rotation?
Well, here's the thing with Shane. I don't think Erik Neander can think about 2026 with Shane McClanahan there. I think at this point, if he's healthy and can pitch, we're going to create a spot for you. Don't you worry. But when you build out that rotation, it cannot be Shane in that calculus. So you have to – he's a bonus. He's a bonus next year. And that's how you operate is – what do we need in our starting rotation? Shane's not even part of the conversation. You go through spring training. We all hope that Shane's ready to go opening day next year. He can even take the ball opening day like he was supposed to this year. So I don't want this to sound like Shane is like gone and forgotten and never going to come back. That's not the point. The point is they have to think about life without him. And let's all hope that they don't have to worry about that. And they're just being overly cautious. But it would be foolish to think that for a guy who's been out 2+ years, trending towards, closer to 3 by the time we get to opening day next year, that he will be, ready to be there, set it and forget it. And we're not even talking about really innings management because you can't just chuck him out there for 200 innings, 150. So there might be a world where you have to have a discussion with Shane to be on the Drew Rasmussen plan of this year. If he's fully healthy, he could be on the Drew Rasmussen plan of 2024.
Right.
We just don't know. So until we start seeing Shane get this issue resolved, which the number one question is, how long is he going to be out? And, that's really been the most frustrating thing for the Rays. There isn't sort of an example of where they could say, hey, this player has gone through this. Give it this amount of time. It will heal. They just put him under the knife for a little bit to have someone say, let's just see if this works.
Right. Isn't that's
it's really insane what's going on right now, where I feel like all season with Shane McClanahan, we've been teased of, he does a rehab outing. He looked good in that one inning, and then there's a setback. And it's just like we were getting teased to the point of, there's a chance he could come back in August or September. And then, of course, this puts the nail in the coffin on 2025.
And the last tease was even Cash saying to Topkins, saying, well, I don't know about you guys, but I think Shane McClanahan is really effective like anybody else for 1 inning or 2 innings. When you're hearing those quotes, Evan, that kind of makes you think that, not to age ourselves on this podcast, but that sounds a lot like a John Smoltz transition.
Well, here's the thing. I told you a month ago or whatever it was, right? Like if you were to get a setback, they would not be able to build him up in time to be a starter. He would have to be shifted into the bullpen. I believe that quote was before the finality of the season. Yes. So I think that was when it was like, well, he can pitch in the bullpen. Because it was never, they were not going to be able to build him up in time. And I said, if he kind of misses this window, he's going to have to shift into the bullpen. So, I would, we'll see. I don't think that quote affects his future. But you got to also remember, it's not really a tease because everything these days are TrackMan data, and you can see if he is the same guy. And everything was trending in that way for a while. Really, kind of that second giddy up through the rehab outing, though, he was not the same, and they don't know what's going on, and they're sending him to people that they're trying to figure it out. Like, his repaired elbow is fine. Everything that they look at is fine. It's just, for some reason, the nerve is not cooperating. And they're hoping that whatever they did, I mean, they described it as a slice. They're hoping that maybe that can alleviate some tension, and that once they can crack the code, he can go up to full speed and he's not like in a brace or anything. Like, they just got to figure out how to be
mobile. That's what Kevin Cash said. He's going to be mobile. So there is hope there, but okay. So let's shift a little bit into as a Rays fan, you kind of have to always look at the Excel spreadsheet with the dollar signs next to them, and he has always seemed to us, to me and Kevin, and we've talked about it endlessly, that he's a David Price guy. You know what? I'm good with arbitration because I want my fat contract, and I'm not signing any team-friendly one. All right? He's going the David Price route, which, awesome. Good for you. Get your money, man. However, when this first injury happens, he signs an extension for 2 years, getting paid $3.6 for the last 2 years. In 2024 and in 2025, $3.6. We know that from arbitration from other guys that are out, you don't get a raise when you don't really play. It's very minimal. Is there right? So then, is there an opportunity here? Because let's remember, next year he'll be ARB 3, but he's already been granted ARB 4, kind of like a red shirt situation for college players. He's giving 2 more ARB years. Is there a scenario here where you think that the Rays could come together with Shane McClanahan and get an extension done for the next couple years?
Is there a chance? Sure. It would be a calculated risk to try to buy an extra year from him on the super cheap. Hey, we're going to guarantee you 3.6, and we're going to give you another 3.6. Look, dude, you have 2+ years. You've been out. We'll put another 3.6 in your pocket. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work. Yeah, they can do that sort of stuff. Again, there's a world where I got to think of the Stu world, and then there's the new ownership world, and we don't really know what the new ownership world is.
Right.
I can certainly say I would not expect them to all of a sudden start spending money like Steve Cohen. Like a lot of fans say, new ownership's going to come in. We're going to start spending money on people. I don't see it. But, you hope that maybe Junior Caminero can get a fat cut, right? Maybe you can extend some people that are yours so you're not constantly losing the homegrown talent. That's what you want to see from ownership. The free agency should supplement your homegrown talent. The way the Rays have always operated is they just say deuces to everybody, and they just shuffle you constantly. So, is that possible? Sure. But without knowing what the budget is and what they can really work within, $3.6 million on a Stu budget sadly is
hefty.
It's like, that's a really solid reliever or a utility player. I'm sorry, we're talking like pennies in the grand scheme of things. It's ridiculous.
Right.
But I'm just saying the juxtaposition of, theoretically, I would say just do it, right? $3.6 million. What's the risk? Whatever. And, but, there's some stuff that's beyond our control of not really knowing what the budget's going to be.
To me, I would pull the trigger on that. If you can try to buy out one.
You do it if you were Shane, or would you do it if you're the Rays front office, Kev?
If you're the Rays front office.
Okay. And if you were Shane?
I don't know, because you see guys that are injured and unproductive, and they still get a lot of money in free agency.
You can also create incentives in that.
Right, you can build out incentives, but I mean the Rays have given they've given more to guys that were unproductive or unhealthy. I mean,
right.
How many games
I would do?
Played?
What really is probably the path is, right, you guarantee him 3.6 in arbitration, and then you build like a really low base. Like, hey, we'll sign you to, I don't know, whatever. I mean, it could be a $2 million base. But hey, if you hit 75 innings, that's going to go up to $5 million. If you hit 150 innings, that's going to go up to $12 million. If you get
and the
200 strikeouts, it's $20 million.
And I think that's the only way that Shane McClanahan would accept something.
Exactly. And so it's
the
like
Rays are doing it currently right now with Fairbanks. Fairbanks actually has that type of deal with them in place. So
yeah, so that's a way, like, of, hey, third year, if you're hurt and you're not playing, here's $1 million in your pocket. But if you're playing and super productive, and you hit all these benchmarks, yeah, we'll pay you like an ace, like you deserve. So that's typically, and the Rays have really, with Shane, it's a different story, but in general, the Rays have fallen in love with the extension for their pitchers, because it's always great when you want to trade them and they have another option year, and you can dangle them at the trade deadline saying, hey, you're not only going to get them for this year, but you're going to get them for next year, right? And I think they've learned that game, that it's like, hey, for the player, we lock in money in your pocket, and we get leverage at the trade deadline when we got to deal you.
Well, knowing that the situation with Shane not pitching in 2025, the Rays might need to look outside the organization for starting help in 2026.
Well, most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. We don't want that, right? Well, that's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch, they do the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. So don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Thank you for listening to the Locked On Rays podcast. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As we mentioned, there are still many a question mark with Shane McClanahan, and based on what Evan has detailed to us, we should just be under the assumption that getting Shane McClanahan in 2026 is a bonus, and we need to proceed. The Rays need to proceed as if he will not be in the equation, at least to start the year for a large portion of the year, which means they're going to have to look for some other options, additional options with starting pitchers. Because as I see it right now, we have Ryan Pepiot, we have Drew Rasmussen, we have Shane Baz, and we have Joe Boyle. Adrian Hauser, my guess is he would hit free agency unless the Rays really see something that we don't really see. I guess there's a possibility that he could come back. But I would think that the Rays are going to have to formulate some sort of trade or make some maneuver in free agency to beef up the starting pitching staff in 2026. Evan, what is your prognostication on what they need to do? Because usually you need to enter the season. You need to know that you've got more than 5 guys you can rely upon.
I think they're all right. You mentioned the 4. I would say Ian Seymour's the 5. Now, theoretically, they are missing the head of the horse, right? We're missing the ace. You need that shutdown guy, and Drew is close to that. I think Pepiot has the potential to be that, but they're Ras is probably a 2, Pep's probably a 3 right now. I would argue Baz is 4 or a 5, and Seymour is probably a 4 or a 5. So you're missing that ace, which is where Shane slots in. But and Boyle, has the stuff, but his ability to hold runners on is a bit of an issue.
His production has been more of a 4 and a 5, just like Boss has.
Yeah, it's a little bit inconsistent.
So we have a couple 4 and 5s and no 1.
We have a lot of 4s and 5s.
You have a bunch of. A lot of other teams have it much worse because Shane Baz has the potential to be a 2. Pepio has the potential to be a 1. Rass has the potential to be a 1. Like Boyle has the potential to be a 1. Like these guys have that ceiling. I think this year, to no surprise, we expected the pitching to maybe not look as sexy as we thought because they were playing in Steinbrenner, right? Put them back inside the trop, get them a good defense again in the outfield, and I think you're going to see some of their everything's going to kind of go up for them. So I'm expecting kind of all the pitchers to look a little bit better next year.
Sure.
Having said that, all right, so let's insert Seymour into that 5. We haven't even talked about Shane, right?
No.
Then we talk about someone like Brian Van Bell, who they just brought in, who I assume we are going to see at some point towards the end of the season. Certainly, as you probably shelve Drew, you're going to probably shelve Boz. You probably are going to shelve. Well, Seymour's already kind of in his relief role. That's fine, but you got to take care of him. Boyle, you want to manage. So Brian Van Bell and Forrest Whitley are 2 guys I really want to see. Forrest Whitley, I know we kind of forgot about him because he came with the team and then it was see you later. But he has been utterly dominant in AAA Durham. As of this recording, he just pitched on Wednesday night. And let me just roll through the game log since he's been relegated to Durham.
Sure.
As a starting pitcher. And let me just go through the last few because he's gone 5 innings. So on July 26th, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, no runs. August 1, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. August 7th, 6 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, no runs given up. And then on Wednesday, he went 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, no runs given up.
That's awesome.
So that's another guy that I want to see sort of at the end of the year. But those are guys, and Whitley's got to be put on the 40-man again, which I imagine. So in a world, you don't have to do anything drastic. And then that's not to mention guys like
Joe
Brody
Ross,
Hopkins, Curette, and Ty Johnson, who are probably knocking on a door with Curette being – I think Curette has the ability to be in the rotation next year if they needed him. But I can also see him kind of being hey, let's roll with these 5, and if we need him in May, we'll bring him up.
No love for Joe Rock from either of you. How dare you?
Joe Rock has been shifted. Joe Rock has been shifted into the bullpen recently.
And they're not going to – you don't think that he's going to go back into a starting option?
I think a la Mason Montgomery, they have tried it. It's not working. And he's had some success as a relief arm, though Wednesday night he did give up a home run. But I think he's been for 1 inning, he's been a lot better than multiple innings.
I'll let you guys know right now. I think, yes, the names are there as like to get us to 7, 8. But I'll tell you, that's flimsy to me. The weight of those names due to their production in Major League Baseball, it doesn't give me as much confidence as I did coming into this year, for example.
So what I'm hearing is, Evan, we don't need to go out and get a veteran on a 1-year deal with an option, something like that, or convert a Griffin Jacks from a reliever to a starter. We can be okay in-house.
Theoretically, look, the Griffin Jacks to starting pitcher has been the Twins' white whale. Like, go talk to all their fans. Every year was like, this is the year we're going to convert him to starter. Yeah. And
the Rays can do it, though.
The Rays can do
it. He's got the pitch mix. But I'll tell you this. They need Griffin Jacks in the bullpen.
Yeah, they do.
They don't need another number 3, number 4 starter They need a lockdown
don't
eighth inning
know.
guy. And I'm still not 100%. I mean, we still don't know if Pete Fairbanks' contract is great. So,
Yeah.
but there's a world where Griffin Jax is maybe more of your closer and Fairbanks is the eighth inning guy. I don't think they would do that move, but I think there's an argument to be made for it.
The strikeouts.
To me, in my opinion, and Pete Fairbanks has elite soft contact this year. Like, I mean, I think 100th percentile.
But the thing is, in the ninth inning, when you're up by 1-2 runs, contact is contact sometimes, right? A bloop and a blast. So sometimes you need to miss bats. Jackson does that better than Fairbanks.
He's avoiding barrels, 99th percentile in avoiding barrels. Expected batting average against, 82nd percentile. Expected ERA, 94th percentile. But yeah, I mean, whiff percentage, K percentage, walk percentage. It's not elite closer stuff. So yeah, I agree. It's exactly what you said. From my closer, Edwin Diaz gets in a ton of crap, but he can strike people out. Griffin Jax gets in some issues, but he can strike people out.
He showed it in this West Coast road trip.
Uceta can strike people out at an elite rate. His problem this year, the home runs. So I need you to strike people out because exactly what you said. In the ninth inning, I can't live in a BABIP world where some days you get dinked and doinked and now we're effed. Like, I can live with that in the seventh and the eighth, and we can try to at least scrounge it together the next couple of innings. But in a dire hold a 1-run lead, it's a dicey game to play. And so, it's just, I think it's just one of those sliding scales of like, they used to, it wasn't too long ago, they had their, hey, between 1 and 4 in the order, we sent out this relief pitcher. Between 5 and 7, we sent out this person. It used to be like Poche got the bottom of the order, Pete Fairbanks got the top, and then Jason Adam kind of got the middle to back middle, right? Like that's sort of how they operated.
But the bullpen has been so weak, Evan, that they have kind of chosen to be a traditional bullpen. We haven't seen Fairbanks get out of that ninth inning. It's been, and it doesn't matter if the high leverage comes in the 7th or 8th. They're just choosing to pick Pete Fairbanks in the 9th. And that just kind of screams to me a very big difference to when you had 12 guys in the bullpen recording a save. Right now, they don't trust anybody that much like they used to.
I mean, they trust Pete. He's the guy. But, it's very clear. It's Jack. Right now, it's Clevenger / Uceta, Jax, Fairbanks.
Yeah.
The problem is Fairbanks isn't striking. Like Fairbanks 2 years ago, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's a great. Sure. But again, Fairbanks is playing in this world. Like when you're playing in his BABIP world, that's more of a 7th inning guy to me. Like that's just objective stuff.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, as far as like free agent starting pitchers go, like Framber Valdez has potential ace stuff. Spot Track has his market value at like $34 million per year. Good luck with that. I don't see like Chris Sale, if he wants to opt out of his contract, that's $22 to $23 million per year. Ranger Suarez, $26+ million. I don't think that makes much sense.
Kevin was throwing it out there that maybe a return with Zach Littell could be possible, right, Kev?
Yeah. But with Littell, look, love Littell, but the whole thing is, you just talked to me. We just went through it. Those are we have enough 3, 4, 5 starters. You need the ace. Ace is going to cost a lot of money. So ultimately, you probably just roll with what you have because all those guys fit that role. And what you have to do is supplement that rotation with great defense, which is going to infuriate fans when you have people who hit like crap but can play great defense. But that's what you need, because this season I think partly fell apart because the defense was not strong enough in the outfield. And part of that is because DeLuca's missed like 4 months. We still don't know what DeLuca is, but certainly you need the head, you need this fan base. I think this fan base forgot what it's like to have an average to below average center fielder in defensively speaking. And like you had Jose Siri, and you had Kevin Kiermaier. Like, that's close to 10 years of just elite.
Honestly, it's been, I think it's been since, 18 years ago, because BJ Upton before KK, we never really had that many complaints, and Desmond Jennings as well, right, Kev?
Yeah, I think Desmond Jennings is probably the last one we've seen where his DRS numbers were not so sexy. But, I don't know the quick fix to that. Center fielders like shortstops, really good ones, hard to get.
Get Simpson in Winter League Baseball. Thank you very much.
Simpson's a dog. He's going to work on it.
Yeah.
My take on Simpson is until he learns how to master left field, I don't want to see him in center field. And that's just nothing against him. But with DeLuca, he mastered right field, was one of the best defensive right fielders last season. And they said, hey, if you're playing right field that well, what can we do in center? Right? That was the whole calculus. Well, Simpson is below average in left field. Why are we putting him in center? That's harder.
Well, guess what? With the playoffs so unlikely now, we might as well see what
this
Everson,
season,
Pereira and what everybody else has, because it's been rough. It's that time, people. You got to fuel up and turn it up with 5-hour energy transfusion. Grape, ginger, lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course. That's basically every night. That's what Kevin dreams about, that taste of that golf course. Yes, he does. And whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push for yourself to get through watching race baseball, well, guess what? 5-hour energy transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor that you love. So today, you have got to try this so you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the U.S. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Exclusive Masters Tournament. It ends October 31st, 2025. Again, visit 5hewin.com.
All right. As Ulises mentioned, with the playoffs highly unlikely in 2025 for the Rays, now might be the time to let the kids play with the injuries and the ongoing call-ups that are happening, and then we'll have the September expanded rosters as well. And on that note, it is a good time to transition to Closky on the clock.
It's time for Closky on the clock.
Jazz hands. Closky was late with the jazz hands.
I was low. I was too low. That was
Unacceptable.
Rookie
Unacceptable. All right. My first question, the Rays they called up and sent down and called up Tristan Peters, but they've also called up Everson, Pereira, a couple of outfielders there. What are your expectations for both of those guys? And out of those two, who will ultimately have the better MLB career?
Tristan Peters, no disrespect to him, I don't really see him making a long-term impact with this club. Everson, Pereira, I also have my doubts. I think Pereira probably has a higher ceiling, so I'll go with him. Peters is a much higher ceiling defensively speaking. But, yeah, with Pereira, he's got a ton of whiff to his game. He's a righty. The Rays need that in the outfield, but he kind of has a little bit of a Christopher Morel to him without some of the elite stuff of Morel, but maybe not as exaggerated of the weaknesses of his either. So I'm not very bullish on both, but if I had to pick one, I would certainly say Pereira over Peters.
Evan, you just shattered Ulises' dreams as Everson Pereira gets the Venezuelan bump. We were gung-ho on Everson Pereira, thinking he was going to be the savior and replacement for Chris Morel at some point.
Well, it's
he could be. I'm just,
odds are,
odds are, but when you have a team like we've had in 2025, you start to just grasp for good things, and we hope that Everson Pereira definitely is one of those things.
He should play the rest of the way.
He should just see what he's got. And, talking about, Chandler Simpson in the outfield, I want to see him make mistakes in 2025. So in 2026, we might not see as many.
Yeah, I'd rather see Chandler in 2025 play a bunch of center field. I'm saying for 2026, though, I would still move him back out to left. Start of a new year. I don't know if he's going to – nothing against Chandler. He barely has much experience there.
Yeah. So I've got a question regarding our boy, the guy, the face of the franchise, Junior. There was an article by Topkin, I believe less than a week ago, where he talked to the agent and said, it's going to get expensive. Do you think that in order of priorities right now for this franchise is selling of team, stadium issue solved, extend Junior Caminero? Is that the order of operations here?
Yeah, I mean, that's, of course, the order of operations. But you can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. The fact is, it is a slam dunk for new owners to come in and sign Junior Caminero to an extension. There is no ability to wait. You can't say, let's get settled in for a year and circle back next year. The closer this man is to arbitration, the closer he is to just taking his arbitration money. And then in a few years, you have to decide, am I going to pay this kid $500 million? Now, I think those contracts are few and far between. The Blue Jays have a really tough time getting free agents. I would argue they overpaid for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which is what he just got in that 14-year deal. Certainly the Rafael Devers contract does not look well, which is why Boston wanted it off of their books. And also San Francisco can't really get hitters to go to their park, so they were willing to take on that money. But having said that, with the salary cap potentially coming from a CBA lockout, I would think Junior wants his money locked in stone. And I think ownership wants to tell all of its fans with a new stadium, hey, Junior Caminero, he's here to stay.
I like that.
All right. Last question for the Closky on the Clock segment. We've been talking about the playoffs and the unlikelihood, and got to see some young players, hopefully see some strides for 2026. With that,
Don't.
All right, you take it for me then. Go ahead.
I mean, we're not optimists here, so we might just say 1. But on a scale of 1 to 10, what's the likelihood that you think that this team has what it takes and surprises everybody?
To making the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are cute.
I know.
By the way, Fangraphs, there is a chance. They have them at 2.2%.
So you're saying there's a chance.
There you go.
0.1% chance to make the World
To put it in perspective, and we haven't seen how this athletic series is going to end yet.
Sure.
To put it in perspective, the Rays have to win every series.
Yep.
I take it back. They have to win every series the rest of the way. They have a 2-game set against the Yankees. They can split that. They can only accept one loss in every series the rest of the way. That gets them 86 wins on the season. Every team that's had 86 wins, I believe, has made the wild card, that final spot. So I would say that 86 is probably the number you have to hit. To think that this team is going to do that is I got a bridge to sell you. So it's not realistic. Can it happen? Yeah. 2.2%. Let me tell you this. You have better odds of picking the number on a roulette board and getting that number correctly, which is around 3%, than the Rays making the playoffs. So that's not me being emotional. That's not my opinion. Those are objective facts.
No, we were saying on Monday's episode when we came back from that awful sweep against the Mariners that, look, they have to go 30-13. That's just an insane pace. That
if they make the playoffs, watch out, everybody, because they are hot.
Because they're hot. But guess what? Even at that moment, us old folks now on this podcast, we all remember the 2007 Colorado Rockies winning the last 21 or the last 22. And guess what? Getting swept in the World Series. So that also can happen. But what can happen?
The Tigers were last year, too.
Yeah.
Hey, if the Patriots can overcome a 28-3 deficit
My
in the
gosh,
Super Bowl.
guys,
Beat the
we're
Falcons.
Yeah, but
at
this
our
team
legend.
also doesn't have Jonathan Aranda. That's a
Or
problem.
the greatest quarterback ever, Tampa legend TB12. People, besides TB12, the other legend of Tampa Bay is Evan Closky. Evan Closky, where can people find, read, watch all of your work?
Hit me up on the X at eClosky WTSP. Love to engage, except for the jerks. You get blocked. Just don't be disrespectful. That's all I ask. But also head to 10 Tampa Bay Plus. We have the Ultimate Florida Sports Show. I know we're going to talk about Shane McClanahan's injury. We talked about it today, so you got a sneak preview of that. But we talk about Bucks, Jags, Dolphins, Rays. I mean, Lightning, whatever's coming up, we're going to cover it within the Sunshine State, especially with college football season coming up as well. And you can also find my sportscasts at 6 and 11 o'clock. And also at 6:30, we do a streaming-only show on 10 Tampa Bay Plus. And I get about like 3:30, 4 minutes on that to just kind of talk at length about topics that are important today. So I suggest you check that out. Please download it and subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, I welcome all the discussion.
Yes, and the Rays have higher playoff odds than the Orioles, who have goose eggs across the board. So, hey, uplifting here, trying to be.
W
Anyway.
right there. The W, yeah.
Yeah. In the meantime, thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen today. For your second listen, check out the Locked On MLB Game Night podcast. Every game, every night, all season long. Local analysis brought to you on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to those podcasts.